moment?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, welcome.
Yeah. It's a new, well, almost a new year. We've got just a couple more days to go. and yeah, we are still those two guys trying to figure out how to work a computer and all this camera equipment and everything else. But we have had some success, and yeah, we're moving right along. So there we are.
Friends.
Yeah, our friends.
We are getting better and better with all that stuff. Now we added additional cameras, so we will try something new. And please forgive everybody or us if things probably do not always work perfectly fine. Did someone complain that they hear something, or?
I'm not quite sure yet, but
it looks okay.
Yeah, we got some new microphones, so hopefully the audio is better. So that was an upgrade.
Yeah.
We're going to take you around the facility here very shortly. There's just a few of us in here today because it is.
You can see my microphone here.
Just before
advertising.
Yeah. just before the new year rings in. So the team's been working really hard on the Tourbillon production. As we mentioned last time, we had 6 production batches to work through, and the first one we've actually already started to deliver and ship some of those pieces. So we're going to give you a little bit of an update there and show you a little bit of what the guys are working on today. There's Sylvan and Jonas here in the facility. And is there anything you wanted to add, Andy?
What are we talking about today?
Yeah.
I mean, Tourbillon, we call it 1.2 because it's the second batch shipment now. And we talk about Supersede prototype 2 modifications. We do not always want to see slides, so why not just looking at it in reality? So these are the two beauties. Let me put ourselves in here, mega tech stuff here.
The watches are much better than looking at those two Muppets here.
I mean, the Muppets. On the left side you see the Supersede in white, which we had last time, so we didn't take that apart. And on the right side is a Tourbillon sample from the first production batch, smoothly running. I didn't switch on that other watch. I see. Why?
Oh, I'm not sure why. You had one job to do today, Andy.
One job today and messed it up. Okay.
Yeah. So the PCC there on the screen right now is actually the watch that Sylvan's been wearing and testing frequently. And we're going to do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison as well to show you some of the changes we've done in this Tourbillon 1.2 production. And also show you...
It needed a little clap.
It needed a little clap, huh? All right.
Coming back here.
So as you can see, this is very well scripted, the entire show.
Yeah, we are live. I mean, everybody can cut stuff together and it works perfectly fine, but reality is reality, and I'm a friend of reality.
Yes.
So let's quickly look at someone who is, just in case we get a problem with our mobile live broadcast, that was just shot before. Sylvan, we will see him there. And we have been working through the days because anyhow COVID is around, not much snow, so it's good to continue and catch up with assembly. And now I think we should try that new stuff and give a quick walkthrough. Let me change here now, Blackmagic all, and then we get this source. Go wait a second.
All right, technical difficulties here.
Now there we are. And since we don't know if everything works fine, you can still look at the watch.
Yeah. So we're gonna, as you can see, our desk is very nice and clean here.
Yeah.
And, but that's what we're dealing with here, and we're just going to go into the other room and to show you a little bit of the production facility. So let's take a move here, Andy.
So I walk slowly because I don't know how much bandwidth we suck out of that thing in case I'm moving too fast. So as it's quiet, but there are some people went home already because they prepare for New Year parties. But there's someone working hard. Sylvan, just continue. Don't get disturbed by us. I can try my new zooming function here. Yeah. So. Giving some oil.
And this tourbillon is actually the tourbillon 1.2, so you can see a little bit on the bridges, some of the differences there, but we'll show that side by side with both tourbillon 1.1 and 1.2 when we go back into our studio. And we have Jonas over here.
Jonas doing some other stuff.
Jonas, what is it that you're working on right now?
I don't know in English.
Yeah.
Double platte, double plate.
Double plate.
Double plate or the, yeah, double roll, yeah. Two.
We do the pre-assembling of the ruby pin. And we need to check in the beginning quite a lot of we need to do a lot of quality control to be safe.
So that must be parallel.
Within 1.5, 2 degrees.
Yeah. Must be parallel.
And what you're doing is you're lining up this red marker here, right, with the ruby.
That's the automatic. These are the automatic measurements. And it's 1.2 degrees to this one.
How many people are doing that in this industry?
Not many.
Not many. So this means we do not just buy some stuff. We set that stuff by ourselves. And yeah, it's a lot of quality control all the time. There's
At the
nothing.
moment it's 100% control quality, just to be sure that we have the quality we need. And the goal is an industrial process where we can go further without controlling that much. We can check accent.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah.
So Jonas is going to show us how it's being set. The jewel is actually being set for this process.
Taking 0 point,
Referencing, taking the part, pressing the ruby. This 10 times.
10 times, yeah. Pretty serious, huh? And then you see here, that's actually the control. So we have 100% control of all forces in there. Yeah. And all of them need to be assembled, huh? Here. How many are in there?
2,000.
2,000 pieces. It's a small inventory. That's the good thing on
These
watchmaking.
are 2,000.
And these are 2,000 pellet stones. Eh? Oh, that's small. That's a hair there. From the eyebrow. Okay.
So yeah, and this is T0 production. So
Yeah.
there's T0, T1, T2, T3, and very few manufacturers in the watch industry actually start with T0 production. And by doing that, you get to control all the tolerances.
And I mean, that's probably one of the most difficult parts in watchmaking anyhow, because that stone sits underneath the balance wheel and drives actually the fork of the escapement and reversed. So it transmits actually the action from the escapement to the balance wheel. And I remember the first time we did that, first shipment array, bang. Nobody knew where that shit problem came from because the damn stone was a little bit off and Jonas was freaking out. And until we found that, I remember, there's still a movie in YouTube somewhere about that, in Kickstarter. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty much it, and we go back to our...
Yeah, we'll go back to our studio.
I see we have a cool equipment here now.
Yeah.
We will need to do that more often. Okay, so switch off. Then come back here and come back here.
And we're back! Look at that.
Did anybody say something?
Yeah, I don't think anybody had said anything yet. Yeah, so
obviously they hear something.
So I hope everybody had saw that. But yeah, we have some comments in here from Samuel and who else is here? Andy as well. And so yeah, we'll get to those here in just a moment. So we were just out in the production facility, just visiting with Jonas and with Sylvan to see what they're doing. Sylvan's working through 26 movements right now at the moment. We had maybe we can jump to that first slide there.
So we talk about the difference. Okay, so that's status update. Tourbillon 1.2. What have we been doing before Christmas? We have shipped 4 watches to people before Christmas. We are a little bit late, I will come to that later. Currently we are assembling 26, which means there's a lot to go. And we did some slight modifications. Of course, everybody knows that because we communicated it, but when you look at this picture here, it's pretty hard to judge from the first shot what is what. The right one is the 1.1 and the left one is a 1.2. There is no performance difference or anything like this. We just moved some things around to make it more easy to produce, and also increased one wheel to have a more similar winding feel on the compared to our other movements. And you see there's probably one open hole and there's one is closed. We have them real, just not just talk about PowerPoints, real stuff. So change to Black Magic again. So here we go. So these are the real ones.
Hi Jay in Vancouver.
I didn't set the right time. Sorry. But you see that the main barrel can be seen here in the middle. Here it's a little bit to the right. So, but basically, overall the stuff is pretty much the same. When I turn that around, I probably put myself back into being visible. No, better. So there you see there's a bigger wheel in the rear here compared to that one. Rest the same.
Yeah.
So I would like to own one, but I don't have one.
I have one.
Wrist check. Wrist check in between, because we have another camera position,
Yeah.
I love that stuff. So I'm wearing that Autark Generation 2. One of my favorites. Put your arm here.
Yeah, I'll see if I can sneak over. I have, let's see here, Andy. There we are.
Golden. It's that shouldn't be a general spec.
This isn't a general spec, but I
put together from spare parts.
Yeah, Frankensteined it a little bit. Gold case with a gold movement with the blue chapter. Yeah. So it's something a little bit different.
In any case, incredible, beautiful watches. Thank you, Sylvan, for borrowing us your sample, because he's wearing this stuff which needs to be put together all the time. And and testing it. And I think we are very happy with the progress of everything.
So I'm just going to answer a few questions here.
Yeah.
We had a couple of people. Samuel is asking, 260 pieces was not enough for the people who are interested. I've missed the Tourbillon project. Yeah, it's we actually had the Tourbillon project going for actually a couple of years.
Yeah.
Really, a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah.
And so even at the beginning of the Tourbillon project, we told everybody that it would be a single edition, and we wanted to honor that for all of everybody who took part in it and really supported us through that time. Because if you look back at our history, we had really some challenging moments in this production, and the community really stayed with us and really believed in what we have done. And so, yeah, when we reached the deadline for it, we stopped taking orders for it, and we set that as a single edition. So that's why on the back, on the case back, it says 1 edition, and it's now limited to 260 pieces. Having said that, we now have our own Tourbillon movement. So naturally,
Who knows?
Who knows what will happen in future times.
What's happening down the road? But first,
Yeah.
we need to make the people happy, get the watches out, and this means we need to work closely with our suppliers and really get them through their production. We have actually most or all of the parts except flat parts, which we need to continuously produce with our supplier, because they also need to have own needs, and we understand that, and we will keep everybody up to date all the time, and we get into a continuous flow of assembling now, and I think that's good. What is our solution? Basically, down the road, long term, medium term, we will buy CNC machines.
Yeah, and that's the sort of next major step for us as a company.
Yeah, because we focused always on, as you could see, our expertise is engineering, is quality control, is T0, T1 assemblies, all the stuff which is around assembly. After 12 years, we feel safe that we can step into manufacturing, and that's I think you are winning over me, or what?
Yeah, the wrist shot.
Okay. Okay. But in general, after 12 years, we feel safe that that's the time now where we can step into manufacturing, and the target for the next 2 years is to build a complete workshop and be independent and shrink the time between launching something and delivering it. That's probably the major job for us to do. We do not worry about technical things anymore. We have done that so long. We can crank out movement designs and really deliver on that. But shrinking that time and being not dependent too much is I think the key.
Yeah, but we have a lot of great suppliers, but they are all feeling this strain right now from COVID.
Yeah.
Because it has just the amount of people who are staying at home and wanting to shop online and what have you, and have really gotten deep into the hobby, has created a lot of demand for watches, and that obviously increases production. And there's also delays with different countries, because depending on where people are, where different brands are, they have different supplier relations. Our company, we are based right here in Switzerland, so we have basically within a 45 kilometer radius all of our movement partners, aside from the silicone components that come from Germany.
Yeah.
So that's sort of in a global sense what's happening. For us, it's
and we also need to. We also need to work together with our partners, and we have to understand that that's not regular time. The watch industry and the industry picked up kind of in a lot of companies. They did not hire people, or they reduced the workforce. We didn't do that. We hired people during COVID and still do. But we have to understand that, there's some fear about what's going on, and we had this 1.5 years ago. So I ask, or please, everybody understand that you don't bring back up full capacity in the manufacturing landscape from one day to another. It takes a while, and the best thing we can do is keep you informed and be part of it, and perhaps it's even more interesting than just having a watch on the table and buying it, or getting all that information from what we actually do.
Yeah, so there's one question here, Andy, based on our little tour there. Somebody said, isn't there a risk of dust, particles, dirt contaminating these small parts when they are on open trays?
Yeah, I mean, we will buy more flow boxes. You saw that. Some of our places have. When we do final assembly, we assemble under a flow box where you have this air pressure squeezing out the parts. When you do a T0 assembly, you do not need that.
Yeah, because it's a raw part that will still be finished. I guess you could decorate
washed
it.
Again.
Yeah.
So all these kind of things, probably some other lubrication, dip lubrication or whatever processes. So we do not need complete dust-free space. Of course, it's good, but it comes with other problems. You know, when you, in the beginning, when we started all that, and the idea was, do we need to do that in a clean room environment? But it comes with other limitations because we are handling thousands and thousands of parts in T0 in up to 800 to 1,000 processes in and out to suppliers and back to us. And this would come with very complex parts management, getting into a clean room environment and getting out of it. So you probably contaminate the clean room more by bringing stuff in than rather working. And I think it's not really needed, I would say.
At the end of the day, all the parts are have a final clean, and they're assembled under flow boxes to ensure that the dust isn't inside the movement.
Yeah. Any other question here?
There isn't right now. Feel free to ask any questions if you're in the chat. We're just reading them off. It's a little more difficult for me to type and to talk at the same time. But as Andy mentioned here, or if you saw the one slide, we have all the parts in stock right now. The pre-assemblies are finished. What we're really, our bottleneck right now is plates and bridges.
Yeah.
And we are continually working on those and more being put into production actually next week, right?
Actually, it's all a day-by-day job. So we get parts, we finish them, we send them to plating companies, PVD, get it back, assemble. So it's the next 3 months we will do that on a daily basis until everything is shipped. And I can't see any serious obstacle right now why we shouldn't be. We're a little bit late, probably 1 month. We would have liked to be 1 month more early.
Yeah, for sure.
But we are not magicians at the end of the day. Okay, so that's so far Tourbillon related.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if anybody has any more Tourbillon related questions, and we'll be sure to answer them later on in the conversation. But we want to jump over and talk a little bit about Supersede.
Supersede, our next beauty. So let's clean up the stage here and get to that.
And yes, we will be doing more progress reports like this in the future. We love doing this. We're having a lot of fun playing around with our studio and
the whole iPhone thing gives a completely new dimension that we broadcast actually wireless from our workshop into that studio environment. And you forgot that gimbal.
Yes, I forgot.
Otherwise, we would have had a very stable picture. You know?
Next time, I have the gimbal here. It's actually the attachment to the gimbal to hold the phone on there. So we'll have it next time. But yeah, we do plan to do more of this. I will be writing more of the forum posts, but we're finding that this format, doing these lives, are much more interactive. They're more transparent. Because you get to see everything that we're doing, and you get to answer and speak to us right away here in the chat, even though we're not typing. We'll read it. I got a computer right over here to the left of me, and we'll answer them right away. So this, for us, is just a lot of fun. So we have Supersede now on the screen. Jay was asking
more about Tourbillon 1 and 1.2. Shall we go back to show that? What is the difference? Again.
Okay, so I guess we're jumping back to Tourbillon. We'll come right back to Supersede again. Why did we make the upgrades is the main question. Not
an upgrade. It's a change we considered to make sense because the first Tourbillon has a relatively a little bit harder winding feel, and we thought probably we make it a little bit closer to the K1 and the K2 winding feel. So we increased the transmission ratio. That's pretty. And then we did small changes. So mainly for us to make it more easy to produce. For example, people remember perhaps the first shipment from the first tourbillon. We threw away all the cage parts because we had chips, potato chips from titanium. So the design changed in the first run already because we had to throw all that away. And then we learned how to put that on the machine so that they come out straight. So these kind of things. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
There's not much changed. It's many small details which make it more easy to hold on a machine or to hold it during assembly, but hardly visible, I would say.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that when we get parts off the machine, they are more easy to assemble and they are stable. We do not lose parts. That's pretty much it, I would say. The most visible thing is, you probably see this difference, but when you don't look at it closely, then you do not even recognize that. Don't know if probably 10 years down the road, the first ones are the ones which more sought over than the second ones.
Know.
Who knows? Or a celebrity owns the second batch, and
you never know.
Who knows? Nobody knows. But at the end of the day, that's pretty much the same.
And it's a total of 260 pieces either way.
Yeah.
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 So let's jump back to Supersede again.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any more questions there, but we'll come back to any Tourbillon later on. And let's see if there's any questions here.
Good.
Yeah.
Back to that.
Yeah, so we have Supersede here. And these are the same samples that we had before, that we had shown before. But we wanted to show them again today and also answer any questions that anybody had. But over the holidays, we've been fine-tuning the case profiles and dimensions and everything else because we learned a lot from this first prototype. You can't go straight from a drawing directly into mass production. You always have to prototype multiple times until you get all the dimensions and everything just right. So, is there something there, Andy?
No, it's okay. It makes us. We should not forget we highly magnify things here on the screen.
Yep.
So when you wear that, it's you really need to look several times to figure out what is the difference. But we decided to do that because it makes just more sense to go down that road. Has it been decided that the present would be brushed or polished? No, that's still open. No,
you can order whatever you wish.
You can order whatever you wish. So we have prepared a couple of slides for case, for movement, for dials, hands, and then we can go back to...
so maybe just walk us through this one, Andy.
Yeah. So what did we... I would say I call it case tuning because you do not really improve something. It's a lot of taste involved. We improve or tune towards better producibility. So you can see here, for example, what did we change? Of course, we changed the crown size slightly, just a little bit. I think it's 0.5 in the diameter because we thought it probably feels a little bit better. We changed slightly the overall shape of the crown protector. We actually improved the wall thickness here. You see this is very thin, that was too thin. This wall thickness of this convex area. We changed for better polishing the under part of this case side flank. That's very important because it was not just didn't produce a clean look. Before we decided to put torque screws in there because then it's much more easy to. I probably put myself in there. I want to see us here. It's much more easy to use a torque screwdriver as a non-watchmaker to open and close the screw and change change bracelet or
Yeah,
strap.
and in the past, people have asked us, how do you get access
Because
to that?
slotted screw is,
You slip out.
You slip out and
it'll
scratch
scratch.
something, and so I think we will supply 2 torque screw bits, and you can do it by hand. So the groove depth of the bezel is also something we thought that we need to improve a little bit here, and we also will change the way it is produced. So the direction of machining, matting, masking, polishing. That's what we will do.
Yeah.
So a completely different process in order to get a more crispy feeling on that bezel. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and but I think we were, that's the second prototype. I mean, for the first prototype, we were very happy already, and obviously the people also. And there's a lot of discussion going on with the suppliers. I mean, suppliers polishing these complex, edgy shapes is a nightmare. It's super difficult. You need to have jigs and fixtures and build everything along that. See, you continue. No? Good, yeah. I just reading sometimes. Yeah. so 3 screens and all that. No, 4 screens, by the way. Okay. So we will have a very, very good improvement on case design. I think I'm very happy with this. It goes very, very well. Next slide.
Yeah, so somebody is asking, Jay was asking, is the case fully polished or will there be some brush finish? There's
brushed and polished.
It's a mix of both, and that's what makes it really challenging.
Yeah.
And there's also matte in there.
Matting, the down sections, and there's on the side top flanks.
Can you go to the actual image of the watch?
Wait,
just
I
make
need
that
to
a little bit
change
bigger,
different.
and then we can show some of those differences.
We can do that here. I mean,
There we are.
There actually,
that's brushed right in there.
That's brushed. The top side is also brushed. The direction needs to change because sometimes you cannot brush in an area where you do not have a 90 degrees angle to the side. So there's some very practical things you need to consider during manufacturing. But I think we will get a very, very good result. I'm very confident that that's going to be a very, very good product.
Yeah, and Jay was also asking about the steel. It's 904L stainless.
904, so that's a big problem,
We need to buy.
Where am I? Here. We are buying actually the 904 here, and then we ship it to our supplier, and then he's making the case, and he hates us for that because it is difficult to polish that 904. That's why I recently learned in between, for example, Rolex 904, in between the lux, they do not polish, they brushed. Yeah, because that polish in between the lugs. Because the polish wheel is going that, and when you do that in between the lux, then you will see a little bit of
like a wave.
Yeah, like a wave.
Yeah.
So, these kind of things we learn along the way, and that's, I think, it's also exciting for us always again. I mean, we are manufacturing nerds, kind of. And I love factories, and it doesn't matter where on the planet they are. I have always great respect from people who run a factory and do really manufacture stuff. And the funny thing is now we are entering a stage where we can really do both also. Very often a factory is not very good in engineering, and an engineering company has no damn clue about manufacturing, and an assembly company doesn't know either. And so we are in a lucky position to do all of that, and that should turn into some good watches, I hope. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. So we go into the next slide. Yeah, which is movement stuff. Yeah. Good to know. Supersede movement improvement. So that's just a picture we did before, stripped down. So what are we currently doing? From the last samples we got, we figured out that the GMT hand setting spring needs to be changed. So we changed that in order to make it really that it hits the place, because this hand is actually going by hour, and it need to have a clear, how to say, step-by-step action.
Yeah, it needs to jump clearly with that hour.
Yeah, and you know, we didn't make our life very easy because we decided to make a modular GMT, which means we can decide target time change with date change and reverse that 24 hour, 12 hours. So during assembly, we can actually to see more details on the bracelet. Then okay, during that time of assembly, we can decide what kind of GMT we want to have, so we can save cost on movement manufacturing while keeping a certain variety. That makes it exponentially more hard to design parts. So there's less space, so you need to spend more time on that. Then we found, and that's what we knew before already from the prototype before without GMT, that this hacking second or the stop second mechanism needs an extra spring so that we have less movement on the hand. We improve you see there's a lot of springs, you know. Springs are, you can do calculation whatever you want, but at the end of the day you need to put it together and then you need to try and you need to test. Computers can do a lot of things, but these kind of things in this micronewton meter fingertip feeling world needs to be tested. You need to build it and you need to test it. You need to test it again and you need to build it again, and it takes 3-4 times until you dial it in the correct way. Same for the date disk. Date disk need to click. We have very good date disk function already, but can improve always. And we should take that time, since we have given ourselves this 1 year period, to do that in the right time and take the people on the way and show them what we are actually doing. Date disk quick corrector, yeah, we have actually a date which can be adjusted independently from the GMT time. Second position, backwards rotation. That's a pretty unique. I mean, not most of the GMT watches, you need to wind the crown in order to adjust.
Yeah, you have to keep going around if you miss it.
What that means is that you need to decouple actually the date mechanism from the hand setting mechanism in order to be able to adjust that and then couple it back in, which means there's a date disk quick corrector, and that's a mega brutal part with lever and stuff like this. I think Pascal, the head was exploding. But they will get through that, and then of course constantly improve assembly and producibility. That's one of our constant jobs to be done, and this will continue to go down in the next year. Every week we find improvements on how to make parts, how to hold them, how the machine can better treat it. So that's the daily job, I would say. But I don't worry a lot about movement itself. So we have done so much of that stuff. Our people are good and they know what they are doing. And now dials and hands. As you can see on the right side here, there's already some new dials coming in. What did we do? Of course, we will improve on the contrast of the GMT hand. There's still this big discussion if this thing needs a color or not. We will have a lot of time to decide on that as a community. Our big boss says she wants to have not a different color hand. She prefers a matting finish. Other people say they want to have a color hand, and there's a discussion, is this too dominant or not? At the end of the day, the community will decide and we will make suggestions, so there's no need to worry about that. Then we already improved on the orange of this second hand. Why? It was a little bit milky. There was no ground finish. And that's why the orange didn't come out as orange as it should be. So this is, of course, no problem. We have this under control. And we improved on the print. I will show that, and a little bit make it more white and more black. So go to the next slide. So you can, of course, the left side, there's a glass in front, but you can see already from that picture that it is a little bit more, how do you say?
It's a bit more snow white, crispier.
Yeah, the right side,
more,
we make it more white.
Yeah.
Because we thought it needs to be more white, more direct, and we improved on the print, so it's less brutal in the front, so it's much sharper print, and you can see also the sharper print here. It's really, I mean, when you see it live, you will see it even better. But these are the changes we have been doing, and we do the same on the black. It's less easy to see, but it's much more black what we do, and the print you can see immediately is much more sharp and crisp, and that's what we want. Yeah. So yeah, I can show some more stuff here. That's how we get when we get actually stuff here. Wait.
We're just switching over. We have a tray full of dials here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
It's
that
just
stuff.
not just one
No,
version.
not just one. And each of them cost a lot of money, you know. It's samples.
Yeah.
So we have a very, very. I can probably open that, and then we see just
No fingers on there.
no finger. Yeah, the tree is killing me when I.
And we have somebody also answering in the comments now too. So
So you see that is
out.
really, that is white and black. It is really, as we say, it's a very white and a very black. Super nice. It's really, it is very nice. Yeah, that's where we are with the dials. The other colors still doing more samples. We have more to talk next time about that. Now I need to switch back to my screen here and that. I'm getting better with all those buttons.
practice makes perfect.
Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So what else is going on? How much we are 1742? Is there some questions we didn't answer?
Yeah, it was
yet?
just Sue had answered it, but does the quick date setting mean the jumping hour hand can only go forward? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but I mean, you just jump around. It's much easier to jump around. The hours than to continually roll through the.
Yeah, because
through
there's a
the
limited
calendar.
amount of positions on a crown. Otherwise, one would probably have to add additional pushes somewhere, which we wanted to avoid. So technically, we have 4 positions to occupy on the crown. First stage, setting GMT. Second stage, setting, and you can do that back and forth. Second stage, setting date and time.
Yep.
So, and we didn't want to overcomplicate stuff. It's complex already.
Yeah. Yeah, when you look at the drawings on that movement, it's a lot of stuff in a very, very small.
Yeah, next time I think if we can get our internet stable here, we really would like to do some live looking into 3D files and things like this. Now as I said, we are getting better with this whole tech stuff here.
So other updates that we have, Andy? I mean, there's
Right,
sort
I
of
need to move around here with my mouse.
Yeah. So how is your waterproof tuning going on?
Waterproof, thickness.
Yeah,
Thickness,
and
thickness, water, depth rating. We can only perform when we have final cases. So we need to wait until we have cases ready, and then we can go from there and see.
So in a couple months' time,
what
we'll have
happens
more of an
actually
idea.
when we dump it
Yeah.
200 meters down
Yeah, we
the
thought about going fishing in Lake Como.
Como Lake. Yeah, Como Lake is deep
If you
enough.
guys
to
think
do
we should
that.
go to Lake Como and do some fishing?
Yeah, then we probably do a live with that.
Yeah.
Fishing rod with a lot of lead on it, and then sink that whole thing down there, and then and a camera.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a guy building a rig where you have a camera and you film that. The problem is, does the camera withstand the 200 meters?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a housing.
Yeah, and then put the watch
Hopefully.
in front of it. So that would be some cool fun to do that. We should do that. I trust more in real-term world testing than machinery.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, you know, it's anyhow interesting. We find things in the lab you don't find in reality and reversed. So you need always both. Real world testing is always very good on the wrist, in the metal, and at the same time in the lab. But yeah, the depth rating that's something we need to figure out along the way. What really happens with the material.
Yeah.
This
So
case is definitely not. Sue's
Sue's answering now,
we have a ghost. There's a ghost here. What else?
And what's coming up in January and I mean we're obviously things are moving along in the right direction.
As I said, the next 2 years will be very much characterized by building production capacity. That doesn't mean that we. The problem. Why do we have to do that? The problem is not that we want to produce our own stuff. That's not the goal. We are busy with what we do already, and there's a lot of stuff to do here. But when we are dependent on one single machine for one object, this means when the machine is down or a person is sick, we will have a problem. So we need to think about double sourcing strategies in a way that it's digestible, and then actually fill our suppliers' capacity and have this backup capabilities at any time, in order not to get into a delay problem like we saw it. And I think we also learn a lot from that. I mean, when you see that machine which we have bought, it's a Japanese machine, Hasegawa, with a robot loading system. It's not the fastest machine, but we choose that one because we think it gives us, first of all, we can learn a lot from robot loading, writing programs for that, and also how to design even better so that our suppliers can more easily machine stuff. Because when we plan for our let's say, I mean, who knows? I mean, down the road, probably 5 years down the road, we need to make 5,000 watches or 3,000, you know, and then we have a lot of parts to make, and we can't risk having just one machine at our disposal, and then we are done. So we need to do that, and this means we have our assembly workshop, and we will also. Is a working language in your company? What is a working language in our company? Yeah, that's a good question. Bavarian, Swiss German,
there's French,
French, English, German, and Chinese.
Yeah, it's
because my wife, our big boss, she's a Swiss citizen but originated from Taiwan, and we have a team actually spread over the world also.
Yeah.
And some people don't know that, but we also do make our own software. So we have a software team in Taiwan doing that for us, and they are all attached to Orange, kind of. And but manufacturing is what we do here for movements. That's all in this area. And yeah, we are. Sadly, my French is not so good, or let's say it's not existent. You, as a Canadian, you should actually speak French.
Yeah.
You didn't listen in school,
I don't have an excuse.
And so, we talk a lot of English, I would say.
Yeah, because with everybody, we need to have just one sort of common denominator to go to, and it's English.
Are there plans to offer the K2 movement to other watches beyond the Supersede? Sure.
Future times.
Sure.
Yeah.
This will be our future platform, and everything which goes beyond the functions we have in the K1 and in the Tourbillon is going that way. Fellow Taiwanese here, hello. You're in the corona-free, COVID-free.
No, he's in Vancouver.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
in Vancouver now.
Jay's in Vancouver.
Okay. Sorry, I haven't been so much into.
Yeah, we've been talking.
Okay.
So, and he's mentioned that in the chat earlier on.
I'm missing Ding Tai Fung.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Only Taiwanese know that. It's the dumpling shop.
Yeah, well, you took me there.
And we bought. Now we have a delivery system here. A new guy who is doing dim sum here, and so we get that stuff.
Yeah.
And Celine, one of our employees, she has been spending 2 weeks in
quarantine there.
In quarantine in a hotel.
Yeah, to go
and
visit
now
her
she
family.
got released, and now the flight back was aborted, and needs to go a different route. So it's a big mess. So we stay in Europe.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So our plans for our facilities is that we're making our own
machine
shop.
workshop. That's the next step. So we need to get all the equipment, standard lathe, so traditional lathe, traditional mill like Tourbillon and FP1 or 2 or Fielmann or whatever you need, and then we continue to build that up with everything is needed to prepare ourselves for a degree of independence in machining. As I said, not everything, but the most tricky parts I think we need to do by ourselves. And we are hiring people, of course, technicians mainly, and you need some marketing support. And then we are moving our assembly facility to the next room actually, because we need to grow there.
Yeah, we have
and there's some other rooms so we can separate, because when we do regulation today and there's some air blast from cleaning something, then it disturbs actually the equipment listening to the watches. So we have some different room set up there. And in sales, we are with this movement. We will open a physical place inside of our factory where you can come and look at the watches and see what's going on here. So the concierge service in Biel.
Yeah, until now, I mean, people have always been welcome to come and visit us and to see watches, and it's usually up at the office, or and we usually do a tour around here. But now we're just going to make a little showroom and greeting area with our concierge location directly in the production facility, so you can look at the watches and interact directly with the watchmakers and engineers and all of us, because that's the cool part about watches, is seeing it being made right there and being able to just walk into the facility and to ask questions about these things. So that's one of the exciting things. And then we'll be also opening a concierge in Los Angeles, and people who are in that area, we're going to keep it a little bit more remote, so we'll be able to come around and meet with you at various locations within the city, and we'll have more of that about that coming up in the new year, when we finally narrow down which locations we'll be at.
And we buy more cameras.
And we're going to buy more cameras and lights.
More cameras and lights, and I envision that at every workspace we have this kind of high-res microscoping stuff, and just switch on and talk to someone if he wants to know some details. So we are talking about our secrets, our marketing secrets. Oh, shit.
Yeah, because nobody has ever seen, YouTube Live before.
But we should go back quickly to bracelets. There was a question
there was a question about bracelets.
Some more bracelet stuff.
So if we do go to the US on a trip, I guess we have to go to Seattle. And there's dumplings in Seattle.
Yeah. And I like Seattle.
Yeah, it's a great city.
And there's a lot of very good seafood.
Yeah.
Seafood is the place. And my friend Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates. Probably not everybody likes him. Let's look a little bit at. So I probably cleaned that.
Yeah, you can get that ready.
Or do we can also try it like this.
You have to bring it back. Maybe the focus point is going to be a little bit off.
Or we try that one.
It's got our ugly mugs there in the picture. So somebody wanted to see more details on the bracelet. So we'll have both the polished and the brushed option. People who pre-ordered were able to select that choice. In the second pre-order round, which will be coming up in March, we'll actually have that option still available then too. So just pull it up towards the camera a bit there. There you go. And so highly polished. And obviously this is a sample and we've been wearing it, so it isn't all completely clean right now. But you get an idea of what it'll look like after a while when you do wear it, because watches are meant to be worn, and that's the way it works. And so we'll have we're working as well on the clasp. The clasp right now is just the
standard,
just a standard OEM version of it that comes from our supplier for right now. But we're also working on that adjustable clasp system, and we should have some updates as well in the next coming months as we develop that further. Anything else you want to add there, Andy, on the
There are also
bracelet?
many small changes. There are many small changes on radiuses, and because we found that there's some clamping in between one or two links. So we, I need to put myself here. Small stuff. It's a lot of small stuff, improving here and there, edge there, tolerances. But overall, I mean, it sits super well on the wrist. There's no question about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the taper is really nice on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 904L as well.
Yeah.
So case, bracelet, 904L. And again, you can imagine with those links just how difficult it is if it's difficult to work on the case. And that's the other thing that a lot of people underestimate is just how difficult it is to make a very well-fitting bracelet.
Yeah.
And
most of the companies just buy stuff off the shelf. There are not many who really design something completely from the ground up, and you just go to some good bracelet maker and then select something from the OEM catalog. Nobody knows. But this we do this custom, and we have a lot of history in bracelet designing for other companies in the past 20 years. So I very much like the first link stuff. There's also some small changes on that, improvements. Yeah, pretty good watch.
Yeah, and I haven't asked recently. I didn't have a chance to ask Jonas, but we had a question come up here if there was any K2 rotor material updates.
Still discussing hard.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a pricing question at the end of the day.
Is it
Green?
green as well? So back to the rotor. So
gold is, as it seems currently, is a little bit too light. If you need to go for a 24 karat, it's very soft, so we probably shouldn't do that. Platinum, heavy enough. Not everybody wants to make that.
yeah.
So we need to. We are getting quotes from suppliers and go from there. It's not a technical issue, I would say. It's really a price question, and especially in times where prices for precious metal don't go down.
Well, it is a bit of a technical question if it is too light.
Yeah,
right?
when we cannot just use gold like 22 karat or 18 karat because the density is not high enough, so you would have to go to 24. And then it's still a discussion. I mean, at the end of the day, we also need to try and see if it's enough winding performance. But platinum has enough density compared to tungsten, and we will see.
Okay.
It's just platinum is really difficult to
It's
make, to
super
machine,
expensive too.
yeah.
Because the cost with it, because
Yeah.
it is so difficult to work
But the
with.
material price in relation to gold doesn't make such a big difference. The problem is the machining.
Yeah, that's the
And
problem.
you really spend more time doing that. And if we would have an own machine only doing that, we could do that. But you need to recoup the material, you need to bring it back to recycling. This is all this kind of messy stuff which you end up having to handle. So we will see.
Yeah, so let us know if there's any other questions. I think we're getting pretty close here to the end. We've been yammering for an hour now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are good. 1 hour, exactly.
Yeah.
Then that's the goodbye screen.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for joining, and we will.
I wish you a happy
Yes.
new year.
Yes, tomorrow's New Year's.
Yeah, party hard if you can. Don't do a super spreader event.
Yeah. Don't be holding any super spread events.
Don't drink from the same glasses.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Don't do that.
Maybe get out and get some fresh air. Go for a walk somewhere.
Yeah, and I think I have to recommend the people that they need to get over their worries about vaccination and give it a try in the new year. Don't want to be political, but perhaps it's not bad to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
It's not as bad, I got 3 times vaccinated now.
You're number 3 now. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I made a mistake. I was in the gym before.
I don't do
had a
that.
bad
Yeah.
muscle ache, and then I got the vaccination, and I thought I have a body muscle ache all over.
Yeah.
So, but you see, I survived it, so
Yeah, you are very much alive.
don't need to
I am
worry
too.
about that.
Anyways,
Okay, yeah, we close with a closing shot of beautiful watches here under the microscope. I think that should be the right thing to do. So probably do it in a more nice way. Oh, isn't that nice?
There we are.
Zoom.
There we are. Good.
So, nice watches. And ourselves.
Yeah. So thanks again, everybody. Happy New Year, and we'll have more of these
See
updates
you in
coming in the
January.
future. Yeah, in January. I mean,
Yeah.
it's next week. We could be back, but I think the next time we'll do another live is probably in 2 weeks' time or so.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to provide more information on production. The entire team's going to be back in here, and we will have more watches going out the door. So thanks everybody for your support and patience and joining these and interacting with us. And again, all the best in the new year. Thank you.
Bye.